Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We've, over the past couple of questions, touched on what my question is, and that is, in the hopefully unlikely event that the fees generated were insufficient to cover the debt service, is there a hardline backup plan? At the end of the day, are these backed by the full faith and credit of the Georgia state government or anyone, or are they strictly a fee-based revenue bond, and that really is what the bondholder has to rely on? That's my question.
Yeah, it is strictly a revenue bond, but in our pro formas that we approve and submit to the GSFIC, we build in reserves and we require a certain debt ratio. But we look at these continually to be sure the revenue streams are being consistent with the pro forma that the project was based on. So they're not general obligations of the state. They're general obligations of the Facilities Authority. And we're increasingly much very careful and zealous about how we allocate that authority because it's a precious commodity. So the last thing we want to do, especially while I'm chancellor, is for one of these projects to fail. If one project fails, the whole program, quite frankly, will collapse. And so we're very judicious. We're going to be funding projects that are needed, not just wanted. And so we will husband this $200 million authority very carefully.
Thank you, Mr.
I was trying to turn my button off. I was over here playing, and but I was going to make a motion. No, I was going. If the chairman have mercy, I was looking forward to this. I just want to say this, Mr. Chairman. I remember when we created the vehicle by which that we could do revenue bonds for these various projects through the Educational Facilities Authority, and I fully support increasing it because they've gone toward projects that probably would not have gotten funded through our regular appropriation process. And at the same time, if you look at the map, it shows you how it has been used across the spectrum of our entire university system. I'm chairman of the Fort Valley State University Foundation, and I serve on the Columbus State University Foundation. And all of these projects have been revenue liquidating and revenue bonds. And this is one of the best things this General Assembly has ever done since I've been serving, is provide a vehicle by which those institutions can take something that's income producing and have a quality of life attachment to it for the students at the University System of Georgia. And I want to commend the Senator and you for bringing this up. And I know you're not ready to take a motion, but if you were ready, Mr. Chairman, I would have obliged you at a moment's notice. All right. Well, both of them have been absolutely outstanding programs. And again, one last point: the universities that are utilizing this are the ones that need it and don't have the necessary revenues and don't have the necessary infrastructures to be able to raise external money where they can afford to build these, were it not for this authority.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
John, we appreciate his support. It's become a vital part of what we do, and as Representative Smyre has said, it allows us to do some things on campuses. We'll probably move that on Tuesday. Good. Thank you for your consideration. You don't have a senator who's going to present.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. While everyone's feeling so good about things we're doing in the state, I'm going to bring up another one. And to me, it's one of the greatest things we've done in recent years is not us personally as a legislature, but as an educational area, creating the state longitudinal data system, which of course involves 8 different state agencies, from Department of Ed to the Department of Labor and everything in between. And we also have, with this state longitudinal data system, is one of the not-for-profit association known as GICA, or Georgia Independent College Association. We have 25 of these schools throughout our state. Some of you even live in the districts with these schools where they're housed. And the GICA's board voluntarily voted to participate in the data system. So we're excited that they're willing to come forward and participate in this so that we can keep students from, those early years all the way and beyond. The difference between the state agencies, though, and the not-for-profit association is that the state institutions and the participating agencies are indemnified under the state's sovereign immunity. However, should a data breach occur within the Governor's Office of Student Achievement's data warehouse and result in someone, being a student or a parent or someone else, pursuing litigation, GICA and its member institutions would be the only non-state entity available to legally sue. So what this bill does is it asks for your support in providing the same protections that the state agencies have with regards to participation in the state data longitudinal data system, which would be the indemnity from a lawsuit.
Representative Carter.
Yes, sir.
My question, I guess, is, has there been a breach?
To my knowledge, there has not been, but this is, I have Dr. Susanna Baxter here, who is the president.
The system is currently being set up, and so there has actually not been data transmitted yet. That is slated to happen. They're testing it now, but in whole it will happen in October.
Dr. Baxter, why don't you come up here and use the microphone?
I'm sorry.
We're on the internet.
The data system is currently being formulated, and the data transfer will not happen. Right now it's being tested. Our membership is not participating in that process yet. They're working, getting the bugs out at some individual institutions within the public sector. We will do this in October.
Okay. I guess I'm just confused. What does the Office of Student Achievement do?
We have someone here that can speak.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. All right. I'll wait till you speak, ma'am.
The Office of Student Achievement is the state's P20 data agency, and we maintain all of the accountability data from pre-K through post-secondary. And we house the P20 SLDS, the State Longitudinal Data System, and that is what the Georgia Independent College Association, that's why they need this bill, is so they can voluntarily contribute data to this data system, just as all the other education agencies in the state are doing. To your question about breaches, we are taking every measure to not ever have a breach. But this is the same indemnity that state institutions have for the current data systems. Each data system in the state has some sort of data management system wherein they keep their students' data. USG has one, TCSG has one, DOE of course has one, and as owners of that data, they are indemnified from in the very unfortunate event of a breach. And to my knowledge, I mean, I don't know of any, but there could possibly be one at some point. The point of this bill is every agency that is a state agency has that indemnity, and Georgia Independent Colleges does not. So it would just afford them the same protection that all the other state agencies enjoy.
You want to tell us who you
I'm sorry. I'm Bonnie Holliday. I'm the Executive Director of the Governor's Office of Student Achievement.
Follow-on question, Mr. Chairman. I guess my question is more, all this data, you say you own it. Is that correct?
No,
or
no.
who owns it? I think the person that's data is there is the one that owns it.
That's right. That's exactly right. DOE owns K-12 data, DCAL owns pre-K data, USG owns data for their students, just as TCSG owns data
But
for
the students don't own that? That's not theirs?
Well, hypothetically, yes, but in that there are
Hypothetically or yes?
in that there are reporting requirements, it has to be maintained in some centralized database, and so the agencies that are tapped to do that are those that are responsible for the education of that sector of students.
I guess my concern is that, if that person's identity is stolen and this is used for some means, and it's because somebody at the state level didn't do what they were supposed to do and they're indemnified, or whoever, the whole underlying thing has kind of got a little bit of a challenge to me, because you've got social security numbers, you've got people's grades, whatever else that may be there. This could be.
I understand your concern, certainly, and I think
so somebody fouls up at your level or the DOE level or whatever level, and causes this information to be released. So nobody can be sued. Or the individual could be sued, but the state couldn't because they hired the individual.
Well, that's already the
I
way.
know. I know that's already the law. But
yeah.
I'm just a little concerned about the underlying law.
Well, that's something.
I understand.
I'm not sure I'm the person to speak to that, but that's a law that's already in place.
Thank you.
We have another question here, Representative.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just to clarify on what Sam said, I think that just to sort of set the record straight, this is already a system that's in place, is under control of the state. All that this bill is going to do is allow the independent colleges of Georgia to simply voluntarily tap into that system to use that database for the benefit of the independent colleges. Is that correct?
That's correct, because they don't have sovereign immunity like state agencies
right.
do.
And on the heels of the question about who owns the data, once the student enters an institution and provides that data to the institution, although it is their social security number, although it is their personal information, it is, under current law, that is going to become the quote-unquote property of the institution. So the institution has every reason to protect that information, not only for the student's benefit, but also their own. Isn't that correct?
That is correct. And we do assign unique identifiers to students that are separate from their social security numbers. Every opportunity to encrypt any kind of, we call it PII, which is personally identifiable information, is taken. But I understand your concern. It's always there. And so just know that all of the agencies involved in this are very serious about protecting that data. But this is not to change anything that is already in place. It's just to provide the independent colleges the same privileges as the state agencies.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any other questions from anybody? Well, that concludes our meeting. We'll take probably next Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.